everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Orange Zeppelin, and today I might need to apologize, just like in general, but I need to apologize to Ken Penders for roasting the Lara Sue Chronicles, because that's really not the worst comic I've ever read. I should probably apologize to all of you in advance, because we're looking at the Harley Quinn Fartacular, because if I had to look at it, now I'm gonna make you all see it also. And just to be fully transparent here, I am reading this comic based off of scans that came to me through certain under-the-table channels. So I don't have the physical copy. I'm not sure if it actually is scented. I do have some intel that this comic is selling very poorly in comic shops. I'm not surprised at all. Now, I'm reviewing this for a particular reason, and that is that there's a noticeable trend in modern media discourse where if you say you don't like something, people accuse you of not even consuming the media you're talking about. Like, when a movie flops, people say it's been review bombed from people who didn't watch it. Well, I consumed the media, and it was not good. I have indigestion from consuming the media. Nobody asked for this. Nobody was excited for this to come out. Maybe people were excited just to see the chaos that would unfold, see what kind of train wreck it would be. Not even the perverts were excited for this. It is supposedly an April Fool's joke, but that would imply it's funny, which we're gonna get into that. So let's cut the chatter, maybe cut the cheese, and dive right in. This comic is about Harley Quinn farting, and yeah, that's what happens. That's the comic. That's pretty much it. So to summarize, Harley Quinn gets weirdly turned on by Poison Ivy farting, which rightfully weirds out Ivy. Harley trauma dumps on this random chili dog salesman. She makes a scene in an art exhibit about farting, and she conspires to steal letters written by celebrated Irish writer James Joyce. This Dutch lady shows up and warns Harley not to steal those letters, as her late husband was a great scholar of James Joyce, and she has had superhumanly bad gas ever since he read the letters or something. Harley then annoys Ivy while she is fighting Batman, despite Ivy telling her to leave her alone, to try to proselytize the idea that, farting isn't gross, it's just the evil patriarchy that wants you to think that. Meanwhile, Ivy is literally trying to fight Batman. This is kind of the whole comic in a nutshell. It's just fart good, man bad. If man fart, why not woman? Well, let me tell you, the other week at work, a man farted while I was waiting on him, and it was pretty grody, and if he was a woman, it still would have been grody. Also, one time at work, somebody paid me with a dime that I'm pretty sure had a pubic hair stuck to it. We're getting off topic. Anyway, Harley is not being made out to be a very likable character. Even if it was a mistake, she has just straight up killed Ivy's pet plant from her preposterous flatulence. So now she is starting to think she has been cursed by the James Joyce letters. She's trying to steal them back from the Dutch lady. This joke kind of doesn't make sense. I think the joke is that Van Gogh cut off one of his ears, but that doesn't make sense because him not having an ear doesn't keep him from hearing, and even if he did, I care too much about this joke. This is like the least awful thing in this whole comic. Harley knocks herself out with a cork and hallucinates being in a bean can with James Joyce. Now, a lot of people are very, very put off at the fact that James Joyce is included in this comic at all. They're saying maybe his estate should sue DC Comics, and as much as I think it would be really, really funny for the estate of James Joyce to sue a comic company for defamation, I don't really see that happening. I think the writer of this comic could have used this time to engage in university-level literary analysis of his works in the middle of this demented fetish comic, because that would have been objectively funny in a very absurdist way. I do realize that would require the writer to have knowledge of the text to make that kind of joke, and I myself only made it about 60 pages into Finnegan's Wake before my right arm started going numb and I started to smell burning toast. I do kind of suspect that this writer doesn't engage with a lot of classical literature. I am also tremendously disappointed that the writer did not think to use his famous 101 letter word from Finnegan's Wake as a fart sound effect. That would have been hilarious. DC Comics, if you want to hit me up as a writer, I can get really plastered on Jamesons and I can write you something good. Apologize to the nation of Ireland. Damn right you should. Plastic Man is here. Pretty sure this is Plastic Man. And he decides to help out Harley by turning into this latex fart inflation suit. Here's a literary reference. God is dead and we killed him. That's from a man whose face was 72% mustache. The comic ends with Harley telling Ivy that she's sorry for forcing her weird fetishes on her, but not really, because she does make it very weird again. Yeah, I don't want to look at this thing anymore. So let's wrap this review up with a big question. Is this a salvageable concept if executed better? I'm gonna say no. The concept of a scratch and sniff comic, if it was used less awfully, that would be awesome. Also, I do want to say the art isn't bad at all. It's not the style that I usually gravitate towards, but in a totally different story, I would probably like it a lot more. The coloring is not bad at all. I think that cool art very often make up for a completely incomprehensible story, because I do really collect comics for the art, and I'm willing to collect something if it visually looks really cool, even if I don't know what the hell is going on. But this is not one of those examples for several reasons. I'm really just perplexed as to why this even exists. I don't know who the intended audience is supposed to be. James Joyce fans will get nothing out of this. But that's all the time I want to spend on this hot mess, so thank you for checking out the video. Please comment down below if you've read this comic. Did you physically buy it? Did you take a nice good whiff on it? What hard liquor did you drink while reading it? If you would like to read a different comic for absolutely free, please check out the video description for a link to Samurai Goblin #1, which I did the art for, and there are 0 farts guaranteed. If you do read it, consider hitting me up in an email or somewhere and let me know what you thought of the art. I'd love to hear your comments and critiques. And on that note, I will see you in the next episode.